What can the average person do to bring attention to and help Uyghur Muslims in China? I can't wait for the United Nations to have a meeting about this and do absolutely nothing. That's because the United Nations, despite what some people keep worrying about, are not a one world government or anything even remotely of that kind. It's frustrating how almost everyone either denounces the UN as an attempt to conquer the world in the name of bureaucracy, I guess, although the most fanciful of that bunch generally like to throw in some Christian apocalyptic prophecies for good measure, or derides it as useless when it turns out that no, it cannot exactly invade China and punish it for the Uyghur genocide. The UN is not useless, but it is far too limited in scope and power for something like that. Would a world organization with more power to protect basic freedoms and rights everywhere be desirable? I would agree with that, although of course implementation would not be simple to say the least. But it's absurd to criticize the UN for being unable to do something that it was never designed to be able to do. Part of the problem is that China is a permanent member of the UN Security Council, which means that any time the UN wants to take drastic action, it needs China's approval, and China will never approve of actions taken against them. Same criticism goes for the other permanent UNSC members, US, UK, Russia and France. Yet, the permanent members all need to be dropped. They will never do it as that would cut 80 to 90% of their funding and actual troops on ground, not to mention 100% of their intelligences in satellites. I actually have a friend who is a Uyghur from over there. He fled and is now a US citizen. He is very active in contacting state and federal reps and lobbying them to enact political pressure on the CCP. He said that's the best way really. Whoa, I'm surprised this is so low and below the boycott TikTok comments. Write to your representatives. You literally elected them to represent you. Stop using TikTok. Simple yet so effective. Cool, but how does that help exactly? You can hurt China via their pocketbook. One of the main reasons they act this callously about the treatment of Muslims is that they have this attitude of what are the Americans going to do? They need us. If we start make choices that diverts money away from China, there is a real chance the country might see political unrest and then change as a result of poor economic conditions. Damn. Okay, but do you think the reason they are committing a genocide is because the Americans can't stop them? While I agree with the hurt their wallet mentality, I don't see how trying to hurt them financially without other governments acknowledging what is happening and then saying they will stop if they stop their behavior stops, changes anything. It just seems like slacktivism to me. But I don't have to begin with, so maybe there is something I don't understand. Boycott China whether possible. It may be hard, but if there's an alternative, go ahead and switch. Don't use TikTok. Share and retweet examples of China's atrocities. Rinse and repeat and don't stop until the world takes notice and finally says enough is enough. Call your local representative. Stop buying Chinese-made products. Stop using Chinese-backed services. Cough Reddit cough. You know, the difficult stuff that nobody wants to do, because it's harder than pretending to care on social media. Reddit is only 10% owned by a Chinese company. They don't have control of the board or enough votes to determine policy. What good would leaving Reddit actually do? What good does voting do? Candidates never win by only one vote, so why does it matter? Many small actions add up. I'm not leaving Reddit. You can't make me. Ideally we should stop using anything Winnie the Pooh has his dirty paws on, but that's mostly irrealizable. A friend works for a national network company. They used to use Chinese smartphones. Next week they're gonna switch to Samsungs. On our scale, we could just share and spread the information, no matter what the skeptical cunts will say. At some point, there will be just too much poop under the carpet for the international community to ignore the smell. We should all be using Samsung phones. They're made either in South Korea, about 10%, or in Vietnam, about 90%. They shut down their last Chinese factory for creating cell phones and components in 2019. Meanwhile, Apple phones are still made in China, and so buying an iPhone directly supports the Chinese government. LG phones are made in Vietnam as well. Google is, did move their phone production out of China to Vietnam. Lenovo, Motorola is a China-owned company to avoid as well. Quit using TikTok. Quit buying from companies with majority Chinese shareholders, and contact your representatives. The Chinese government is a cancer upon this planet and needs to be reined in, and ideally eradicated. Taking out their economic power is the key, and getting those bastards off the world stage and out of international organizations is important too. You want to silence other people's voices? We'll silence you. You just did. I don't really think there's anything we can do actually. They are not gonna listen to us. They are a dictatorship with extra steps. Maybe the United States could put tariffs on Chinese goods so that people don't buy them as much, and that will hurt the Chinese economy, and they will have to either become a democracy and leave the US alone, or their economy will succumb greatly. But that's what the government is doing. RN. So awesome. Use their own weapons against them. By that, I mean contacting someone who has a decent following on TikTok and tell them to spread the goddamn word. TikTok would delete the videos after the CCP told them to do so. Spread the word as much as you can. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, 4chan, whatever the frick. LOL, 4chan doesn't care about Muslims. Not much really. Write a letter to your local politician and let them know that taking a tougher stance on China is the most important political issue to you. It's not just the Uyghur. They are waging an economic war all over the world, mostly in Africa and Malaysia, where they own large swathes of countries' infrastructure, and conducting global intelligence gathering, including blackmailing expat Chinese people. Vote for people willing to oppose them. I know my local MP is. Unfortunately their party isn't in power at the moment, but it's what I can do. Not it, LOL. China doesn't give a solitary frick about what anyone thinks. Real talk? Nothing. China has finally achieved what every developing nation has been trying for centuries. They're totally immune from Western powers messing in their affairs. Buy local country alternatives. It costs a few dollars extra, but will last longer. Stop using Chinese services. Egg. HSBC Bank. TikTok. Recent list released by India is a good example. Stop high margin products made in China. Egg. iPhone. Airline tickets of Chinese airlines. Most technology related products. Alternative is Korean made. Spread the word. From local representatives to neighbors. Spread the word to reach countries that have Muslim majority populations, but is funded by Chinese interests. Egg. Pakistan, Sudan, etc. Don't let yourself be distracted by the charade of professional sports' wokeness and take them to task for ignoring China and the affiliated companies and sponsors, like Nike, that profit handsomely from cheap and slave labor there. Nothing. I don't understand what is with young people these days in wanting to be an activist for everyone except the people in their own communities. You wanna do something? Go help that Vietnam vet down the street struggling to move something because his leg is messed up and he won't go to the doctor because of PTSD. Go help the single mother trying to raise 3 kids on minimum wage. Go help that kid whose parents don't give 2 shits about him and abuse him regularly and he's on the edge of ending his own life because nobody cares about him. Stop reaching out halfway across the country, world with hashtags and social media posts and even donations. It does nothing. Go on, attack me. You hate me because I tell a hard truth. Stop buying using Chinese products. Buy Reddit. Stop buying from companies that support China and use the camps. Stop using Chinese products. Buy American and go out and protest to have China kicked from certain parts of the UN and raise awareness. Vote. Call your representative and raise awareness. Talk about it and share the video of them being blindfolded in Xinping, I think it's called that, station. Share all the atrocities about how the Chinese government is committing cultural, religious genocide on Uyghur people. They got away with murdering with tanks a few thousand of youngsters in Xiamen. Nothing much. Literally nothing. Can't do much of anything when America is divided as hell and China is unified like never before. Beijing 2022 better not happen. Not pay for Reddit awards. Stop using Reddit. China owns a substantial stake in it. Nothing. Nothing. World War III unfortunately. We can't help them, it's not our country. Raising awareness won't change a thing, we can't change it unless we invade.